Welcome, everybody. This is the last in our series of videos. You've seen video 1 and video 2, where we've covered basically some of the features of the MOPA intranet. We just did the global toolbar on the last video. And again, for this video, I have Sherry Peterson from Interact with us, and she's going to help us walk through and get familiar with the navigation bar at the top. And I thank you for that, Sherry.
You're welcome, Ray. Once again, nice to be with you.
So let's jump in right away, and we'll hope you get very familiar with what's available and what information is at your fingertips or within your reach for the MOPA intranet. So we're going to look, if you look at the top of your screen, there's a navigation bar at the very top, right beside the MOPA logo. And what you're seeing is a view of a typical user. We're impersonating Ed Lee today. Thank you for letting us do that, Ed, whether you know it or not, but we're impersonating you. So what you're seeing is the typical toolbar, and I'll explain some of the features of how the board and the committee would use the toolbar and the areas specifically for their work. So we're first going to start with the people, then move on down the bar to the areas that you see there. So let's begin with the people directory. So when you hover above people, it's all these buttons are names are actually clickable, which means once you click on it, it will take you to a particular area. So we're going to first start with people, then we'll move to external contacts. So I'm just going to click on people, and we'll wait for it to paint up. Now, I'm going to ask Sherry if she wanted to speak to this, or did you want me to do a few things and then you'll jump in afterwards?
Go ahead and start, Ray, and then I'll jump in.
And Sherry just shared a couple things with me that there's so many features within this space that you have to sort of get used to thinking about, oh yeah, I can access that in a variety of ways. So the people directory is a very useful and powerful tool to get to know your community members, your colleagues, and how to find them and how to access them and how to share ideas and thoughts with them. So what you see at the top here is an alphabetical listing, A to Z. So what you should know is that if you're looking for somebody, if I was looking for Bill Nickel, you would be clicking on the B because it's listing by first name. So if I click on Bill Nickel, I'm getting everybody's whose listing or whose name starts with B. So I have Brom and I have Bill here. So I'm going to go back to the All button, and I'm going to explain a few other things. So basically, if I scroll down this area, you're going to see that the list is virtually has everyone there, and it goes all the way to the bottom. So I'm just going to go back to the top. On the far right, you're going to see some choices that you have: company, department, and location. So if I click on the downward pointing arrow, it lists all the MOPA member facilities. So you're going to see all the familiar names. You're going to see Anderson Orthopedics, Health Sciences Center, Rehab Center for Children, etc. So basically, it lists all the members by their facility. So if you were looking, oh, I want to talk to somebody at Anderson, click on it and it will take you to the 7 names that are listed there. So if we then look at the department, well, I'm looking to talk to somebody in prosthetics. Well, there we go. You can choose orthotics, prosthetics, and technicians. We haven't forgotten our technician members, and also CPO category. And if there's any adjustments that need to be done, we'll talk about that in a few minutes in regards to your profiles so that we can correct that. So this is basically a fairly flexible system if changes need to be done. And locations for the time being, you'll notice that there are 2, Brandon and Winnipeg, and most of you are located in Winnipeg. So if you wanted to search by, let's say, orthotics, let's click on orthotics. And now I'm going to ask Sherry to refresh my memory. Do I have to click on search, or it automatically has done it already? It already has done it.
It's done it already for you.
Yeah, so the listing below is you're going to see Amanda, Andrew, Bill, Chelsea, etc. We're going to see everyone that's listed in orthotics appear there. So it's already done a triage for us. So I'm just going to turn it over to Sherry, and she's going to cover some of the more sophisticated points in the people directory, and then I'll come back and I'll mention what I've done for the external contacts list.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Ray. So as Ray stated, anytime you're looking for a coworker, you can always come to the people directory, use that little Rolodex, filter by company, department, or location, just as he demonstrated for you. Sometime you might need to tap into somebody's expertise. Okay, we know we can search and we can find Bill, and we can find some different individuals because maybe we just need to call them or something like that. But if you truly need to tap into somebody's expertise because you're struggling with something that day, you can also use the people directory for that type of functionality. Now, in order to do that, notice that there's an advanced button, and when you click on advanced, on the right-hand side, it says expertise and interest. Now, the expertise is a list that's already been pre-built. And I'm going to show you here in a second how you're going to update your profile. So if somebody needs to reach out to you based on an expertise, your name would potentially pop up as one of these options. But if you're looking for a particular expertise, and Ray, I think we have Brom. Doesn't Brom have some expertise listed?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so let's add in some of those expertise that Brom may have.
You know what? I'm just going to put, he's CPO. So I could have selected it from the list, but I typed it in, and here's CPO.
Okay, so let's say that you're needing some expertise in CPO, and you're not quite sure who holds that expertise. What you can do is come in here like you did, type in CPO. When you click on search, then it's going to go through that people directory, and it's going to pull up individuals that maybe you could reach out to get your question answered. So we know that Brom and Dan both have that expertise identified. Now they are stackable. So when he goes back to that advanced button, you can actually put in more, because maybe you not only were struggling and you had a question about CPO, but you also had maybe a question about something else, and you want to know if somebody maybe has both of those skill sets. You can put in as many as you want in here. Now, obviously, the only individuals that are going to come back will be somebody that has both of these marked as an expertise.
And I'm curious to see if anyone's entered BSC, so I'm going to hit search, and we have 0 that have entered CPO and BSC.
Okay, and that'll let you know that obviously that second one that we added, we don't have anybody that's gone to the profile yet and updated that as an expertise. Okay, so just know, as you guys are aware, the more that you add in there, the smaller and smaller your list is ultimately going to get. Okay. And in a second here, I'm going to show you how you can actually update your expertise so that at some point in time, somebody could potentially reach out to you if they have a specific question in your area of expertise. Okay. Ray, go ahead and click on the one below that for interest. Now within here, not only is the intranet a great place to utilize your coworkers for their strengths and obviously find information that's relevant for you, but it's also a great place to kind of have a little bit of that social side as well. So maybe if there's a movie that's playing this weekend and you want to know if somebody else has that same type of an interest, or if a particular band's coming to town, you can actually come in here and search on interests, and it'll pull back a list of individuals that have marked that as a particular interest, and then maybe they can go to the movie with you or go see that upcoming concert. Okay? So it is a really nice way to really kind of connect with some of your coworkers when it comes to the interest side.
And I'll just add something to what Sherry's mentioning. If there are any particularly interests that we've not indicated here, we can certainly add them to the list. And based on our last MOPA meeting, several of you indicated that social activities would be something that you would like to pursue as far as activities within the association. So this is a tool that we can use to help organize that.
Absolutely, and like I said, it is a nice way to kind of sometimes connect with your coworkers on a different level as opposed to always work. And then you'll notice on the bottom left-hand side, if you are looking for a facility owner, and once again, if somebody has updated that in their profile, then facility owners will potentially come back in this particular list as well. Okay, so keep that in mind, that there is that advanced button, and it does allow you to search for a particular expertise that you need assistance with. Could, like I said, utilize the social side of things with that interest, as well as search for a facility owner. Now, that's kind of how you utilize People Directory to search for those. Now, I want to show you how you can update your profile so that maybe you eventually come up with this in the list when it comes to expertise. All right, so we're going to go to the right of Ed's name there, and there's going to be a drop down, and it's going to say edit profile. So what I would encourage all of you guys to do once you log into the internet is go to edit profile, and then when you scroll down, you're going to see, or it's going to say expertise, and then to the right it'll say interest. So when you click in that expertise area, it's going to produce a little drop down for you, and then you can select from the different expertise. So you've got clinician, and then you've got the 3 expertise that fall underneath that. Okay, consultant. Okay. You're literally just going to go through and select, what expertise pertain to you.
And there again, we can update those if you say, oh, you've missed a certain expertise that we think is important. You just have to communicate that to me or to someone in the MOPA group, and we'll update that and add that.
And it's the same concept for interests. You just come in here, maybe like, camping, and you like cooking or different types of music, things of that nature, pets. You're just going to come in here and select the different interests that you may have. And then, as Ray stated earlier, if you find an interest you would like to be added, or as stated earlier, an expertise, just let them know, because as you can see here, you cannot type in your own. You have to choose from the list. And then the other one that's been added, yeah, you always want to, if you can, update that profile image.
That was my subtle hint, Sherry.
Yeah, it was very subtle. That was a good one, Ray. And when you guys click on choose, it allows you to browse out and find an image. Okay, so as long as you have obviously access to an image that you have, you can bring in an image. And then below that, you're going to see, let's see, we have got the bio. Okay, now the bio, the reason this is nice, if you guys can, come in here and create a really nice 2 to 3, sometimes, paragraph little bio, is it is searchable. Now, it's searchable through that top search, which is located to the right of where Ed's image is going to be showing up in there. So anything in that bio would actually be searchable through that top level search. So if you put in there that maybe some of the current work that you're doing, or maybe some of the past work experience that you have, and somebody utilizes one of those keywords up in that top level search, your profile actually will come back as one of the search results. Okay, so that is searchable, everything in there as well. Not through the people directory though, through that top level search. And then the other thing that Ray has added to this particular profile form, and you saw that when we did the advanced search, was the ability to mark off if you were a facility owner. Did we go past it, Ray, or is it maybe
I may have. Oh, no, it's right over here.
There it is. It's right there. Okay, so if you are a facility owner, you want to place that little check mark in there. And then once you get your expertise updated, your interests added, if you're a facility owner, mark that. Then down at the bottom, like I said, you've got your bio. Then just don't forget to save it. And then when somebody goes into that people directory, they utilize that advanced button, and they've tapped into a particular expertise that you have set, then your name would obviously be offered up in that search result as well. All right, anything, Ray, that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I'm just going to add one point, that if you have a Facebook page or a LinkedIn presence or Twitter or Skype or any other social media, it's a good idea to maybe indicate that here, because we're wanting to integrate activities. I'll give you an interesting example. When I was talking to somebody outside the province, they indicated they did a lot of charitable work outside the country, and they would quite often go to Haiti or another country after an earthquake or something and do a lot of work, and they had interesting photos. And I said, well, that's fascinating. People need to know that you guys care and that you are quite multifaceted in what you do and what you endeavor through your professional skills, etc. So I would have not known about that if he had not mentioned, well, I was there and I can send you some photos if you want. And I said, great, let me, and I used those for some promotional material when I was talking to someone else about the profession. So just big encouragement here. If you've got a Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, or anything else, just put it in there. It certainly helps spark more creative thinking and also the exchange of interesting ideas and activities. And the only other thing I think I would add is don't forget to save. That's probably one of the functionalities here that you're going to get used to very quickly, is that you'll be given the choice of, oh, I've changed my mind, I've got to go, the phone's ringing. You can hit cancel and come back later if you don't want to save what you've done. But if you do, you should hit, of course, save.
Yeah, absolutely.
So shall we go back to the top? I'm just going to hit home again, and I've timed out. So that's another technique is that if you've timed out, let's say you started working on something and walked away, is hit home, you'll be asked to log in. I have indicated in my browser and selected in the login to remember my login information. You may or may not want to do that, but I've set it up in my browser and I'm working in Chrome right now. So we under people, I'm just going to move on, and I'll get Sherry to jump in whenever she has some interesting items to add to what we're talking about. So I've also created another category within the feature of the program or the site, and it's called external contacts. It's people that are not members of the association. I've put down Lindsay Martins, who's our MOPA's legal counsel. So what that does is in case somebody says, you know what, I would like to find out some information, and you talk to Brom or you talk to Dan or you talk to myself, and I say, well, you might be best served if you talk to Lindsay. So I'm just going to click on Lindsay, and what we will load in these areas is basically a description of what and contacts of where she can be reached. And lo and behold, here's her email, here's the Fillmore Riley legal firm website, work number, fax number, address, etc. So it saves a bit of time and also gives you an indication. So over time, I'm just going to go click back to external contacts. If you said, oh, it would be useful to have the name of somebody from Autobach or another manufacturer, et cetera, we can certainly load those in. But that'll be something, again, there's an alphabetical listing here, but these are for your use and obviously for your convenience. And it has nothing to do, or it does not conflict with what is in the membership directory. So let's move on to facilities. So we've started with listing who's a member of MOPA, and obviously we wanted to create a space and an area where facilities could showcase what they're doing, what they're working on, and what they wanted to share with the membership. So what you'll notice here, I'm just going to scroll down, is there's a little carousel here featuring each of the facilities. And we've created a home page for each of the facilities. And we have also done some interesting things here. If the facility had either an Instagram account, I've loaded that up. So what you'll notice is WinPo, Anderson Orthopedics, and Snyder Orthotics has their own account. So we've loaded that up. So if you're wanting to see, oh, what's going on with WinPo or the latest activities, you'll notice here that they just posted something about Halloween. So this is the the pumpkin carving contest that they had. So basically, what we're trying to do is encourage each of the facilities to have a nice presence. And I'm just going to click. I've pre-populated these pages. They're fully editable. So representatives from the facilities will have access and can change these pages. So now what I've done is I've clicked over in the left-hand menu is basically these are the pages that were created. Each facility can create as many pages as they want, and basically it's going to allow the facilities to communicate to you directly to the association. I'm just going to go back to the home page and indicate that I've also created a series of quick links on the far right, just over here, facility links. So if you were scrolling down here, the whole idea in the layout is to give you multiple opportunities to move from one area to another very simply and conveniently. So basically, you'll see the facilities here, and they also have facility images and media resources. So what I've done is I've grabbed a few of the photos that are available on the websites, and I've loaded those in here. So what we're going to ask the facilities is to furnish or provide or post photos of themselves and activities, just to make this a much more interesting area to explore for the members. So that's the facility area. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about boards. Oh, you know what's happened? Because I logged out, I'm going to have to go. We were impersonating a user, so I'm going to go back to Ed Lee and impersonate. So that way I don't confuse you. So now you're looking at, I'm going to click back. You'll notice that facilities We're still saying the same thing so that everyone gets to see the same information that you're seeing here that we just covered in facilities. Now, what I'll mention about boards and the board and the committee. The board and the committees have their own private space to do their work. They have forums, etc., in that area, but they'll be sharing information in the forums, other forums that we're going to cover in a few minutes. Plus, there's an area directly below here. You'll see the inverted triangle, and if you hover above it and click on it, I've created a temporary placeholder page here. This is where when the board meets or has a discussion, the board will be able to place updates or information that they feel that you need to know right away in this specific area. So it's going to give you a direct contact to the board. And what you'll notice on the far left as well, we've got a link for the association activities calendar, which is available on the home page, as well as an activity gallery. So if the board is doing some special activities like the strategic planning session and we take some photos, you'd be able to see that as well. So basically, I'm just going to click on the calendar so you get a quick look. And here we are in the association calendar, and you'll notice that the next meeting is November 2nd, which may have occurred by the time you see this recording. But this will get populated with activities. And I'm just going to mention real quick here and refer back to it in the forums again, is that there's a color coding system to indicate activities that the association is going to undertake. So on the far left, as you see me hovering, you're seeing that member meetings has its category, committee meetings, board meetings, any event and conferences, and there's a spare category here that we can color code and put in there. So that we're going to be using this a lot more than we've done in the past, so that you'll be able to plan ahead when you see what's going on. We'll even put placeholders if we're thinking a meeting is going to occur a certain week, but we haven't selected a date. We'll indicate that there's a date range, and then when you click on the event, you'll be able to basically say, yes, I will attend, or ask a question, or find out more about that event. The other thing that I'm going to mention, and you'll notice that there's a subscribe button here, and that appears throughout the pages and the areas in the MOPA intranet. So if you want to find out on a regular basis what's happening, it's important to hit subscribe, and underneath the button, it basically says, click to be notified of new events, edited events, and comments. So if you're wanting to find out a lot about events, you're subscribing to the calendar here. So we'll talk about that a little bit further up, but I basically just wanted to give you a quick explanation of what's available in the board area for the average user to find out about what the board is doing. And then as we progress over, you're going to start to see what's happening where you can contribute in different projects that the association undertakes under project teams. So under here, it says dedicated spaces for teams, projects, and initiatives. So we click on project teams, and there's a directory here. So what you'll notice, because we're in member view, these are projects that will be managed by a team leader or somebody from a committee or somebody from the board or someone else. But in essence, you have to actually ask to join. So what will happen here is we have 3 already selected, and there again, as we go on, if there's multiple projects, you can sort them out or search for them in an alphabetical way. So basically, we've set up the Certified BR Process Project, the Data Collection Analysis Project, the Strategic Planning Project, and the facility representatives. We've set up an area here where they can basically collect and discuss what they want to do when they populate the facility spaces themselves. So if I wanted to help and work on the Certified BR process, I would click the Join button, and basically what this will indicate that there's already 4 members and that you're submitting your interest. In this case, because it's Ed Lee that's doing this, you hit submit, then the team leader will get a notification that Ed Lee wanted to join the group. And basically what happens is once you're in a project, you will actually end up having access to a home page, which basically is for that project. There again, it's another workspace, and that information will be shared out in the forums, which we're going to move over to in just a minute or so. Sherry, am I missing anything? We're doing okay so far?
No, you're doing a great job explaining this. And I think you guys, this is a fantastic, I love the teams area. And like Ray said, if you want to be a part of some of these different teams, you just click on that little join button. You'll notice that the facilities one, once again, you would click on the invite button. Okay, so, and more teams might get added. Now this one is a little bit different. It says, please enter the name of the person you would like to invite. And then once again, that person would get that notification. So fantastic way to be a part of different projects, maybe that would be of interest to you, and just kind of share your knowledge kind of in a little different realm of the intranet. So definitely, if you can, be a part of one of these teams if one of those do interest you. So and Ray, I'm glad that you touched on when we were on that calendar, the ability to subscribe, because I think, whenever you guys are on the internet and you see that subscribe button, it really is a fantastic way to keep on top of, information that's being published throughout the internet. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that subscribe button is a very, very powerful little tool.
That's great. The other thing that we can mention and reinforce again, I replayed some of the information from the last MOPA meeting in June, and there was quite an interesting discussion about social activities and educational activities. So we fully expect to populate the site with, once a liaison person is appointed or a volunteer comes forward, where we can create project teams for social activities and educational activities. So a team area is a great starting point, as well as the forum. So this is the way you get things off the ground. Some of the comments that that were made by members at the meeting, which were very good, good supporting and constructive ideas, was to get things off the ground, you need a liaison person, and once that person has has decided to come forward, I'm just going to mute for a second here. I think I didn't want you to hear my phone ringing endlessly. So basically, this is an opportunity to get organized and to get people involved very, very quickly. So it's not going to get lost in the mayhem of trying to get something going. So basically, project teams. So I'm going to immediately move over to forums. This is a really interesting area that is much more robust and functional for getting activities working very, very quickly, as I just mentioned. So you're now in the home page of the forums area. And what we've done is we've set up a bit of a news feed of what's going on the left here of general discussions in the forum. So what you'll notice here is Dan has posted some information about the Regional Council Conference call of October 30th. I've posted something about the board nominations and several other things. So all the most recent posts or information that's been added to a specific topic forum is available on the left. We've also created, for ease of access, we've created a couple windows here. This is specifically for meetings. And what you notice here is a discussion thread was created for the MOPA fall meeting of November, where people have posted information. This is where the agenda, the meeting reports, the minutes, any information that's provided can be found. We'll also talk about RSVPing in a second or two when you want to record or to indicate your attendance through a calendar or through the forum itself. So that's very convenient. And basically, we also did one because the elections started actually, the nomination election process started in October and is carrying over into November. We basically have posted an area here, and we'll do that from time to time where we put an important activity or a forum area to be there. We've also created a nice little easy way to just, this another shortcut or link is if you have a specific question, you click on here and it kicks you to a page, and I'll show you that in a typical forum in a moment, but it's basically just another way to access or to provide your comments or to share a question with somebody. So let's look at some of the topics and how a forum can be added or accessed. In this case, I'll basically just indicate that a forum can be created by someone that has the power user rights to basically create a topic, but an individual discussion thread can be created by anyone that's a member, and we'll show you that in a moment or two. So if you look at the pages or the categories on the left here, we have the MOPA Internet Rollout, we have the Meetings Forum, the Certified BR Process Forum. These have all been created. They're not all fully activated yet, but if you're wanting to start the discussions, it's open for business as of now. And as you continue down the list, OPC Regional Council Forum, Elections, Strategic Plan, Manitoba Health Discussions, Data Collection, and Analysis Forum. And guess what? Here's another way to ask a question. Just click on here. So if we were to look at the MOPA Meetings Forum, I'm just going to click on that. And here are two discussions that are already started. And I'm just going to click on, no. You know what I've run into, Sherry, is that in some cases I don't always get, unless I've misspoken here, I don't always get the buttons activated to be able to start a discussion thread.
Now, when you would have set that initial forum up, now you've got to remember when you go on, and we can look at this when we're done with the training, but we can look at the actual setup of it, and that might answer some questions for us.
Okay, so basically, stay tuned for further developments on how to start or close a discussion. I'll show you that in a moment when I go back to my own account. But in essence here, if we go into a forum and we click on one, you'll notice on the right there's 5 posts that have been put into this area. So this was done to basically facilitate the planning and the preparations for the MOPA Fall meeting that was selected for November 2nd at Rehab Center for Children. So basically, if you can subscribe to this, so there again, back to the subscribe button, we're impersonating Ed Lee again. So if he wanted to track what was going on with this meetings in general, or specifically the fall meeting, he would hit subscribe. So anything that changes within a discussion thread, he will receive a notification on. So basically, if we scroll down here, here's the initial announcement when I created the discussion thread. And here's the RSVP report. Here's materials that are being posted as they become available. And you'll notice that, let's see, I'm the one who's done most of the postings here, but in the, I guess it's the GR committee that has a discussion thread, and many people have already jumped in and provided their comments. So basically, this is what you would typically see in a forum. Sherry, did you want to comment on anything else that's functional within a forum for the average user?
Yeah, a couple things here. You'll notice that, and Ray, it's going to be kind of a little bit towards the bottom of your screen. There's going to be an icon. Looks like it's got 3 people in it. Go a little bit higher. Here. Right there. Yep, invite people. If you guys are on the internet and you're in one of these forums and you know that somebody else might be interested in this, you can actually invite somebody to be a part of it. Maybe it's a discussion that you think somebody would like to be involved in, and you can send them an invite. When they click it, it would then bring them to this particular discussion. Then they can maybe be a part of it. Okay, so I think that's a really nice little feature that you can invite others to be a part of a discussion or something of that nature. And then so what you do is you identify the person, write a brief description, thought you might enjoy being a part of this discussion, and then you click on send invite. Okay, so
and I'm just going to remind everyone that you must type in 3 characters to access a name. So if I wanted to do access Bill, I've just typed BIL and his name comes up. If somebody's got a closer, there's actually not many people that have similar names, so it's a singular choice usually pops up. But this is a quick way to invite participants, as Sherry's pointed out, and then you can either cancel or send invites. And like you said, type a message.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out, and Ray, you've done a great job you've provided a lot of attachments. And so I saw a bunch of attachments that you had.
Yeah, just over here, yep.
Yeah, there you go. So same thing, if one of those would be of value to you, okay, you can obviously click and open those attachments. And the biggest thing with these forums, it's your ability to have a voice, okay, to go out and you'll be a part of discussions and put out your different ideas and things of that nature. So you'll definitely want to utilize these forums, like I said, as a way to kind of be a part of things and voice your opinion and kind of be heard a little bit. So definitely take advantage of the different forums that Ray has built out.
So this is an example of the meetings area or forum. And I'm just going to have a look at one that's not populated very much. So we'll just click on to, you'll notice under Certified BR Process Forum, there's a different icon here. So basically there's a choice of in a forum that you can add ideas as well as ask questions, as well as basically share ideas that you come up with. So basically, given the complexity of the BR process, I decided to create a sample idea sharing board. So if you click on BR process ideas, what I've done is I've basically the green icon with the light bulb is, and you can subscribe to this as well, is I'm asking people to post any ideas that you might have about the certified BR process. What would make it better, easier, and more valuable to everyone? So everyone would have access to use the editor down below to type something in, invite other people to the discussion. If let's say Andrew McPhail had a great idea and he wanted to share it with somebody in another facility, this would be a great opportunity to basically start that, and that way you're immediately reaching out to your colleagues and you're keeping something going very, very quickly. And also, drag and drop or click on the green box to basically access a file that you think, if you found a sample somewhere or want to share something, you can also add files here. So basically you just reply and that will post it. And in this case, reset, I guess, negates everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see, did it reset? I don't think, because I did anything, there wasn't anything to
No,
reset.
yeah, absolutely. So if you just wanted to, there's that back to forum button. If maybe you decided you really didn't want to participate, you could always click there.
So basically, this is a great place, and once we Sherry and I resolve who has access to create a forum, and what we'll do in the other orientation that we probably already have mentioned, possibly, is that there are power users within the association. Those are members that basically will be creating a lot of content and providing a lot of information and providing support service to the intranet. They have complete access to create and modify pages, forums, et cetera, within the intranet. So there's quite a few of you, or there's probably going to be 4 or 5 of you within the association that will be doing that. So the idea is that will allow everyone to be a very knowledgeable user of the intranet, just not a singular administrator, but several of you. And it also gives you the opportunity to sort of make sure that the contents gets loaded quickly and effectively into the space. So that pretty much, if I click on forums home again, there again, here's our home page and the listing on the left. So basically, it's fairly straightforward to get access to a forum and to share your voice. Another important area is the documents library. So basically, it's a great place to gather information that would support the work of the board, committees, work teams on projects, as well as members who are interested in particular areas, either education or what's going on in the profession or within the particular activities of the association. So I'll just quickly walk you through the docs library. This is a fairly robust and flexible area, and all these areas will evolve over time and as people contribute their ideas and as we receive materials. So basically, what you're seeing on the home page are the most recent documents, the latest documents, and you'll notice, oh, look here, MOPA Intranet Orientation videos. I've created a page where you can access the videos that we've created, like this one, for the orientation video. So they'll always be there if you need a bit of a refresher on what we've covered. So this lists out the most recent documents and materials that have been posted. That's handy. Really fast. Here's what's new. And you'll notice 2 days ago, 10 days ago, 11 days ago, etc. So it gives you a bit of an idea of how recent the materials have been pasted. So if we click on the library home on the far left, that's the latest document, so that's another way of access it. We've also created a master list on the far left. It says Documents List. So now you have a searchable master document list. And look at this, it's covering 5 pages, so there's quite a bit of material. It indicates that there's 47 pages, and you can search if you were looking for GR materials, you would type in GR or whatever search term you look, and then here are 6 pages that immediately have been given a keyword or a description that matches for GR. So I'm just going to go back to the documents list, and what you'll notice is that it's really easy to find a document. If you're wondering, well, what's this KPMG fiscal review document? There's a bit of a description of what it is. So you say, oh, okay, this is the most recent changes to how the government is going to improve services and do some significant changes into healthcare. So basically, this document was of value and has been posted here for your access. So what you'll notice again, and I'll refer you back to the little arrows, when you click on the arrow, it's pointing downwards. It means there's something beneath it. If you said, well, I'm finished with that area, you just click on it and it basically hides the material. So don't be fooled if you see what you're seeing here, where it's just a long list of categories with arrows pointing down. It means there's something underneath each of these areas. So if we look under association, here's the bylaws and policies. Under committee documents, there's the GR committee has materials that are available for your review. The OPC, there's the regional council and the recent ONP scope of practice review or material that's been submitted. So what we're trying to do is put everything in a place that's easily accessible so that if a team or if you're interested, well, I want to find out what's going on in a particular area, that you can access it fairly quickly. So what we're also planning on doing is populating this with material that would be useful. And in this area, to give you an example, right now we only have Alberta here, but we're planning on putting the other provinces that have materials like Ontario and BC. Allied health professionals, we've got physiotherapists. So if I click on that, oops, I've been logged out. I guess I've timed out, so I'm logging back in. And now I'm logged back in as myself, so I'm going to go back to Ed Lee, and then I'll come back to myself to show you a few previews of what we do as well, as long as we don't go too long on this video. So now I'm back to being Ed Lee, and I'm going back to the documents library, and we were just looking at physiotherapists. So if I click on that, here's the materials that are basically what physiotherapists are doing in a similar area as yourselves, and this is what they're promoting to governments and to the publics. That's how they provide services for stroke, shoulder pain, knee pain, etc. So it might be useful if you're working with a physiotherapist or if you're working with the public to understand, okay, what are they hearing from other sources? So all this material is here. So if I were to basically click on a representative sample, this one's cardio rehabilitation, what you'll notice here is that this document has been uploaded. And you actually get to see when a document's uploaded, there's a variety of things that we can do, is just put it as an attachment or to upload it as, well, to bring it in as an upload. So you actually can preview the document inside the page. I find this very useful. So what this is as you see, there's a control bar or navigation bar here for full screen to move through the pages, as well as you can download this document. So basically, you can save this page as a PDF. The PDF will not save the document. Here is where you would get the uploaded file. You would click on it, and you would get a message box from your computer system indicating where you want to download it or opening the file itself. So very useful way to access documents, very visual. And I'm just going to point out a few interesting things. We're going to be collecting media stories. Here's a Winnipeg Free Press article, and here we go, where the article was about the WRHA deciding on critical criteria for in-clinic physiotherapy. So I've got the article here, and basically you can read up about what the government is doing in that area. So media stories, if you see any, please let us know, and or someone within the MOPA Association, and we can post that and share that, and then the power users can upload. So just to get you more familiar, here's health group resources, advocacy groups. We have Diabetes Canada, War Amps, and we'll be continually adding to this area. ONP resources. I've created anything that's a report or information that's an update on what's going on within your area will be posted here. I've collected a series of videos on, which is an interesting feature, so I'm just going to click to that. So I basically have embedded these videos from YouTube and Vimeo. So basically you'll recognize some familiar people here on videos that can be played and accessed directly through the MOPA intranet. I've also loaded in some functional videos from AADL in Alberta explaining their program. So there, if you let us know, there again, we'll load up what's pertinent and what's of interest to you. And here's the intranet orientation video, so I'll just click on that. And what you'll see again is video 1, the global toolbar, and it's 22 minutes. And the MOPA homepage, which is 25 minutes, and this last video will be uploaded as well. As an added convenience, what I found is I didn't want to clutter up the MOPA Association calendar itself. I've created basically a link to everyone else's calendars. So if you wanted to find out, oh, what's the OPC having going on as far as activities, it'll open up in a new window. So here's the OPC page calendar of events. So I'm just going to go back to where we were. So basically I've done the same thing for AOPA, the USA, OPI as far as the software, what events they have, ISPO, the Manitoba Orthopedic Symposium. They don't have anything for 2018 yet, but this is the page for 2017. Wounds Canada and CADITH events. So opens up in a new page. As you see, here's a symposium that's happening in Halifax in April of 2018 that is managing health technologies. Brahms already mentioned this to me, and that there's maybe some value for MOPA sort of participating in that area. So that's, in a nutshell, pretty much the docs library. Anything, Sherry, to add to that, or...
No, I think you did a great job of explaining it. And the biggest thing, remember when you guys get to that docs library, you've got that docs library home, which has got the widgets that help pull through that information in a little bit more visual manner, which Ray went over with you. And I really do like that documents list, because let's face it, there's a reason you're probably here in this documents library and it's for a particular page. And this is a really nice, quick and easy way to find in one list all the different pages that ultimately live in this particular docs library area. But otherwise, you guys, just look through those menus. They've done a great job of providing you with menus and then the content underneath it to hopefully help you find all that important information that's going to be relevant to you. So, no, great job of explaining that, Ray.
Great. Well, thanks, Sherry. And last but not least, we've created a little add-on here at the top of the navigation bar that says, I want to. So as we get more familiar with what you're looking for and what you're doing, we can create, again, a shortcut of sorts. So basically, if you're in a hurry, if we see that there's something that's very important, example, if once we complete the BR guidelines that everybody needs to know about, we can post it here. I want to see, instead of the bylaws and policies, see the BR facility guidelines, or I want to see our agreement with Manitoba Health. Key things that you want almost an instantaneous access. So it's basically a fast, quick link. So if I go here and click on see the bylaws, it leads me to a page, and I'll populate this various pages, and we can enhance these pages as we go. But basically, it's a link to the actual page I've created and will continue to supplement this area. Here's the description of the bylaws and policies, and it basically lists the documents that help govern the association, the bylaws, the member code of conduct, how the nominating committee basically helps select and vet nominees for the board to serve on the board, and then board roles and responsibilities. And what you notice on the far right, and I'll just use another reminder, if I were to click on this arrow, it can expand out the page, but it does cover the attachments area. So if you click back on this area, it collapses the actual main page and then provides you with a list of things that are also available, which are MOPA recommends, which we'll just mention in a second. But you notice here are the actual documents. So basically, as mentioned on the left, the bylaws, well, the bylaws and the documents are all here available for your download and access. And then MOPA recommends, as we add keywords and we add correct descriptions and titles to materials, this MOPA recommends will basically start to load up what they think you might want to look at as a related topic or related document. So in this case, basically, because we only have started and there's not a great deal of material outside of the documents library, it's grabbing material that has been posted that it thinks might be of use for you because it's association based. So does that make sense, Sherry?
Absolutely. And ultimately, that top menu that Ray just went over with you, you got the people, the facilities, the board of directors, and that's going to help, obviously, when you log in, you need to post a question, you can directly go to the forums. Okay? If you're looking for pages, you can go to the documents library. Now, the one thing I don't want you to forget about is you also have a very powerful search engine. So a lot of times you might be looking for content, and it could be anything you type up in there, wounds, or could be Winnipeg, and when you type that in there, now let's say Ray types in wounds and hits that enter key. What I want you guys just to notice is this is a very powerful search engine that runs. Now notice on the right hand side that it's let us know that basically there are 2 links that have that word associated with it, and there are 7 pages that ultimately have that wounds found somewhere within it, whether it's the title, the summary. If you're only looking for pages, you can just put a check mark to the left of pages, and then that's going to filter down, and then maybe you could go through and figure out which page might be the most beneficial for you. Okay, so keep that in mind, because that top level search really is a very quick way to maybe just find some pages that might be of value to you. As those forums begin to grow, if some of those like wounds, if it would be in any of those forum topics and things like that, those also would be offered up in the searches. Okay, so utilize that top level search also as a way to kind of find information. Where it says wounds, type in Brahm. We always know you guys can go to the people directory and find somebody. You also, up in here, if you knew you needed to get to somebody real quick, don't put it after the word. Okay, so there it is. See Brahm right there? So you could click on Brahm. So you can also search for a person up in here as well. And it would take you to basically his time, or his little profile wall here. Okay, so it is a nice little search feature up in there, but also Ray has done a great job of thinking about what would be of most value to you guys, and has created obviously that top menu, such as the people directory, the forums area, the docs library. Okay, so you can go directly there if you know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, that's great, and thanks for reinforcing the search function. So very, very useful. Very important is to always have keywords and put appropriate titles, and also if I hit back, will it go back to where we were? Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. What I've noticed here, which is interesting, as we start searching, there's a little category here, what others are searching for. So through this demo, I typed in GR and advocacy in our demo. So it's reminding us that other people were searching. So it gives you an indication of what people are starting to look for. So the power users and myself and the board will actually use this as a very powerful learning tool to understand how you're using it and what's working for you, and we can certainly adapt how the system is used. I'm just going to quickly change back to myself, And does it? Oh, I'll have to log off.
No,
Is,
see on the right-hand side. Oh, you were fine. No, man.
okay. I'll
There's a
just.
button that says return to
Oh, okay.
user.
Well,
You could
there
select
again,
that
I
next
do.
time. There
Okay.
you go.
It says, hang on. Where does it
See
say?
on the right-hand side, it says return to my user. So a little bit lower, and then to the right, you'll see the new staff button, and then to the right is a return to my user. Keep going down, Ray. Keep going below the Rolodex.
Oh, my brain is gone. Where are we?
Right, you almost clicked. You almost clicked right on it. To the right a little bit. It says return to my user.
Oh, right there. I've never used that. Thank you, Sherry.
There you go. That'll put you back in. Now we were still logged out, but
Yeah.
that'll put you back in a little quicker next time.
So I just wanted to quickly point out in forums that if I would go back to the certified BR process, this is what a power user and an administrator will see. Ah, you know what? I'm still not seeing those buttons.
Now, like I said, I think we're going to have to go into the edit mode and actually see how it was set up.
Yeah, because this did work for me last time. So basically, it's going to give an immediate choice above here. And actually, you know what? Just for the sake of discussion, no, it's not. Okay, so that's something for another time, another video, Sherry.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, Sherry won't be available for that video because this is the last in our series. And I want to thank Sherry very, very much for all her assistance in helping me learn and the power users learn about Interact Intranet, as well as her advice has been instrumental in, I think, in creating a fairly, I think, effective system for MOPA. So thank you, Sherry.
I appreciate that.
And we're going to finish off now. And thank you for taking the time to listen to it. And we'll basically provide more videos as we go for every time there's something new that needs to be learned or done. Thank you very much. And we're going to end the session.